Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, and I welcome you to this live. Welcome. So, anybody try to sell me this pen or what? No takers? Nobody? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't checked out the reel yet. Jenny, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. I know it's late. I will wrap this up. This is going to be so good. I'm going to wrap it up quick. I just started reading, listening to an audiobook on Audibles called Unreasonable Hospitality. Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. Guidara. I should have written this down. Will Guidara, Unreasonable Hospitality. And I was in just chapter, I think 3, that he dropped something. I was like, right? The pen. So, did you see the pen? Did I do pretty good? I did that. The background noise. I don't know why I could not get rid of the back. And there was no background noise. I have no idea where that background noise was coming from. So I tried to play with it, but I had a deadline. I had to drop that reel by 9 o'clock my time. So, but I couldn't get rid of the background noise. But thank you. Yeah, I don't know. That was the first time. So, but I do have another skit that I've prepared. I don't know if I'm gonna drop it tonight though. I'm gonna probably drop that tomorrow. I have 2 skits for tomorrow if I don't do this one tonight. But I probably won't drop it tonight. But there is definitely. You like the wigs? There are more. I have more wigs. I can't believe I'm actually in. I gotta say, I invested in these wigs. It's crazy. If you would have told me this about 6 months ago, about a year ago, about 6 months ago, if you would have told me, hey, by the way, you're gonna be singing and dancing and doing skits with different wigs, I'm like, what? Yeah, and here we are. So, great book. Like, I'm in chapter, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7, and I was just like, Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. So, I think it's chapter 3 or 4, he's talking about the difference between service and hospitality. Now, you gotta get the book. The book is just awesome. So, he's a chef, right? He's a restaurant owner, if you would, and it's about an entrepreneur, right? Now, one thing he does say in here, it's like this. It's like, when you go to a restaurant and the service is great. Like, the service is great. Everybody's on point. The food is just done right. And you enjoy your meal and you walk out, right? And that's pretty much how it should be, right? That's kind of, that's where you go in, right? Good food and good service. It's not like you're asking for a lot. It just should come with it, right? And then you go to these other places, right? And they just treat you like crap, and you ask for stuff, and they don't attend to you, and the service sucks, and the food is not that great. All this stuff hand in hand, and you got that experience too. It's like, I probably won't go there again, right? And then you go to these other places that it's like they really take care of you. Like, they genuinely care. They give you an experience of a dining. Not a good service to eat, but an experience where you probably will speak about it for years to come, right? Now, the funny thing is, he was given an example of this um, with somebody that, you know, had this effect on him and his dad when he was 12 years old. And they had gone to this, I'm sorry, not 12 years old, but he had this effect on him with his dad when they went to a private dinner with somebody, and he was explaining, he was sharing this story, how the owner, you know, took just such an amazing care of him. And it was so, I connected with that story so much, because that is an experience that I have had that I would never forget. Bruno from, I mean, I can never forget this. Bruno owns a very, very high class a restaurant, steakhouse in steakhouse, French, you know, in Anaheim. It was called the White House. And I didn't know about this place, but one time he was a customer of mine. I was working at Tiffany's at the time, and he said, "You know, I have a restaurant, and you gave me such an amazing service. I want to take care of you. You know, you and your date. You come along." And it was Valentine's Day. I never forget it. That years ago, um, and he said, "I'll just take care of you. Just come on in." And I said, "Okay." I didn't know what to expect. I had um, I had no idea. I even told my date. I said, I don't know. You know, I don't know. So let's see what happens, right? So we dressed at a 9 and we went, man. So this is called the White House for a reason, because it used to be a house, right? And multiple, I think it had 9 bedrooms or something. And he had turned each room into a dining room, right? An experience, basically. We got the only table by the piano, by the fireplace for 2. And this is a table that he they literally wait for months to get this reserved. Months, let alone on Valentine's, right? Table by the only fireplace in the whole house, by the piano. And it's just course after course after course of just unbelievable meal. And then one by one, the customers and the guests left. And then he took me and my date. I get goosebumps. I haven't told this story ever. I gotta check to see if Bruno is around still. And so he takes me and my date all around the house. By this time, the whole crew is pretty much gone except for like 1 or 2 people. He's taking me through the whole entire house and explaining each room, how and why and everything, and the meals and the courses and all this stuff. This was back in I want to say 2000, must have been 2001. I think it was 2001. It's got to be 2001. 2001. But yeah, was that like 20 years ago? And I still remember. Like, I literally remember our waiter bringing each course still. And it was just an experience, right? And the way this book explained it, the author, he said that he heard the best definition for service versus hospitality from a lady whom he actually did not hire. And when she was asked, she said that service is black and white, hospitality is color. Service is black and white. Hospitality is color. Isn't that amazing? I think that's so cool. Now, service is black and white. Why? Because, I mean, you expect that service, right? You go to a nice restaurant, you expect to get good service, good food, good service. And you bring in the plate and you bring in utensils and bring in, water or wine or what have you to the table. That's kind of part of the game, right? That service is there, right? But when you go beyond that and genuinely, and he gives a couple examples in this, and I'm like in chapter like 5 or 6, and he gives a couple examples like, wow, like I would definitely go back there, right? Because that hospitality is just going way beyond that service that everybody kind of, you could have really good service, but then when you got that experience that you'll never forget, like 21 years after, and I'm still talking about it, that's amazing. That's hospitality at its finest, right? Now, you can take that and run with that in all aspects of your life, right? You can give, especially in our space, network marketing, direct sales, where, network marketers already got a bad rep. Imagine we all have like the most horrible. It's weird though, right? Maybe I should do a whole live on that. But we got the worst reputation. I don't even know why, but I've been in the mortgage industry 19 years, and I have more, I can say, friends in prison from mortgage industry than I will ever know in network marketing. But then again, that's a whole other life. I digress. But you can take this and run this like with all aspects of your life. I'm serious. Like one day I walked in, twice this has happened. I walked to the office and the feds were there. Like we got shut down by the feds. It's not we. It wasn't my company, thank goodness. But it's like nobody talks about that. We even made the news. Like they even made the news. Crazy. I talked about that in one of my lives. Yeah, I talked. It was funny. I've had some weird situations. It was funny. I remember walking in and the feds are like, "You work here?" I'm like, "Yes." And she was mean as she goes, "Step aside to that room. You can't go to your computer." I go, "Today would have been a good day to call in sick, huh?" She didn't budge at all. She's all like, that room. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I digress. But that's a whole other life. Yeah, so you could take this and a service versus hospitality in all aspects of your life, especially if you're in direct sales and network marketing. God bless your heart and soul. I know, right? 10 most wanted list. I know for sure. And imagine if you could go way beyond giving a great service. Like I like to do certain things for my customers or my team, right? I like to do certain things, and some of them enjoy it, some of them don't, right? Most of them enjoy it, right? And I like to do things that most other people don't. I like to do those things, right? And I've heard it over and over again. Man, this is so cool. Like, oh, I will never forget this. This is the coolest thing ever. Like, that is so neat that you know. And I've had those experiences too. So I'm just kind of, you know, giving it forward, right? So what if you were to do that, incorporate that into your like network marketing business? What if you were whether they buy or don't? See, so we put a condition on it, don't we? Like in our space, it's like if they buy, if they join, then we give them all the love in the world. But if they don't, it's like all the hate in the world starts, like, regardless of the outcome, marry the process, divorce the result. Curiosity shirts, I have that on a shirt. Um, Regardless of the result, if you could see, it's the experience, the process, right? If you could make that experience just unforgettable, because look, at the end of the day, we've talked about this, it's not about the price. It's people love to feel special, right? When you go to McDonald's for lunch, they treat you a certain way, right? You go to a fine steakhouse for lunch, they treat you a whole different way. Just how it is, right? So regardless of the outcome, if you could extend this into your professional life, and I was thinking about that myself, I'm like, wow, that is so freaking cool. Like, I don't need to own a restaurant to be hospitable instead of a service. I could just do that, like, in my own life, right? In my own life, I could see where I could plug this in, because I really just love the concept. I actually was going to talk about a whole different life today, but this was so exciting to me. I was like, I can't even wait on this one. But so I'm asking you to kind of take that and, like, you know what? I could give excellent service, yes, but what can I do so that this person will never forget? When I was in sales, well, I guess I'm in sales, but when I was in, like, retail or phone sales, not when these days you gotta clarify, like, everything. Phone sales, I mean, mortgages and obviously and stuff like that. But when I was training for those, I always used to tell people, it's just, if they don't buy from you, you've got to make sure they will never forget you. Never. In a good way, not like in a bad way, right? If they don't buy from you, you gotta have done an amazing job that they will never forget about you. Okay? And that's something that's been my practice for years. Even with the one that signed up under somebody else, all these people have come to my company, and I've actually I've been the one who exposed them to, and they got in through some other people. Every single one of them remembers me, and remembers me talking to them, and remembers me following up. Every single one. There's not one that I've called out and said, oh, I don't remember talking to you. You were in this company? Never. I've had more than a dozen. Okay? Every single one of them. I like to leave that impression. And it's not at the end. You're doing it as you're going. It's not like at the end when they don't buy, it's like, oh, let me stamp you with my mark of excellence. It's too late already. You know what I mean? It's the whole process. The process needs to be memorable. Like, they gotta remember stuff. I always when I used to train, this is another thing I used to say. I used to say, you gotta take them off the street, which means you gotta close them. I used to train one called closers, right? So I used to tell them, take them off the street, or get them so tired that they don't want to talk to anybody else. Because you talked to them for an hour, 2 hours, you got there, you listened to their pain, you got everything out of them. And if you spend 2 hours with somebody who just called in for a refinance, I guarantee you no other agent is going to call after me, and that guy is not going to spend another 2 hours with that guy. There's no way. 19 years, I haven't had it happen once. They're like, oh, I already talked to somebody. Well, I even tell them, if they call you and they tell you this is your answer to them. If they say, I can do it, this guy didn't, This is your answer. I've been network marketing for over a year. It's been a whole yeah, me too. I had to unlearn a lot of stuff because I'm not about that, like, oh, you gotta touch somebody like 7 times before they're not physically you know, when you gotta expose them to the opportunity or product 7 times at least before they buy. I'm not used to that. I'm all about the one call close. That's how I've kind of done all my sales. Retail, phone, anything, it's been like that. So this is a whole different, like, I had to like unlearn all that stuff, you know. But that's where it comes in. Like, I had to still put in my own touch of making sure that, you know, they remember me, but this is a whole different space, right? So, like, just because you're get the bottom line, I'll leave you with this. Just because you're giving great service, whoop-de-doo. So what? Everybody does. And if you don't, shame on you. You should, you know. Great service is nothing exceptional. It's like, okay, that's like supposed to be. It's like this. It's like in a, I don't know who it was. One of my exes, let's just call that. I don't know. There was a time, I don't know what she said. She said, it's not like I cheated on you, right? And I said, what do you want, an award for this? That's a given. Why would you even bring that up? That's, what? That doesn't even make any sense, right? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, why would you even? Now you got me thinking, right? So something is, it's like, just because you give great service, okay, yeah, that's okay. Maybe you give a little bit more extra service, but having them remember you, like the red carpet, whether they buy a toothpaste or $300 worth of products, you give them that kind of experience, you know. And I really do try to do that, and I learn from other people. Like, I'm like, oh, she did that, that was cool, I like that, you know. Or she did that, ooh, I really like that, you know. I'm gonna do that. Or he did that, you know. So anyway, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this live. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for giving me so much love on these reels. I appreciate you. I'm pretty sure my ex-wife says the same thing. I'm unforgettable. I'm just, she probably still hates my jokes. But I am very unique. Thank you, Jenny. You're awesome. I really appreciate you. Yeah. So if you have some thoughts, I was gonna say something else, but I'm not. If you guys get some feedback, some thoughts, or anything like that, if you have an experience that you feel like, oh man, I would never forget this, you know, drop it in the comments. And if you still, like, that person is in your life, maybe you can tag him. That, how cool would that be? That say, hey, you know, I'm like, that experience, I don't, you know, I don't, yeah, say it. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys. If you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you gotta do. Spread the love. Maybe on another live, because then I'll be here for another half hour. But I appreciate you guys. And until tomorrow, when we do it all over again, I am Sean Azimi with SidekickSean.com. Much love.